When we talk about bipolar disorder, we often focus on the highs and lows, the manic episodes, the depressive phases, but what we don't always see is the larger picture. The reality is, it rarely travels alone. It often brings with it a whole entourage of other disorders, amplifying the struggle. Imagine waking up in the throes of a manic episode. Your mind races faster than your feet can move. You feel invincible, pouring energy into every thought, every idea. But here's the catch. Along with that rush of creativity and productivity often comes anxiety. A relentless, gnawing anxiety. You feel like you're on top of the world, but underneath, panic lurks, ready to pull the rug out from under your feet. Now flip the script, you fall into a deep depression. Everything feels heavy, suffocating. The world loses its color. Motivation evaporates. But in that crushing darkness, obsessive-compulsive disorder may rear its head, demanding that you perform rituals to keep at bay an ever-growing fear of losing control. So you're left battling not just the fog of depression, but the chains of compulsion as well. And it doesn't stop there. Many living with bipolar disorder also wrestle with substance abuse. The highs tempt some into reckless behavior. The lows often lead to self-medication. Alcohol, drugs, whatever it takes to escape the pain, to soothe the mind. It seems like a solution in the moment, but the consequences can be devastating, leading to more spirals, more suffering. Furthermore, let's talk about attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. That's another layer. The racing thoughts can feel like a blessing when you're high, but when you crash, that lack of focus, the impulsivity escalates the turmoil. And the world? Well, it just doesn't make sense. Relationships suffer. Jobs falter. The disconnect is real. What about the relationship between bipolar disorder and eating disorders? It's intricate. Some might find solace in control over food during the chaotic storms that bipolar brings. Others might binge to drown out the feelings that seem just too overwhelming. The patterns that emerge can be deceptive and damaging. And let us not ignore the impact on self-esteem. Imagine fluctuating between feeling like a superstar and then plummeting into feelings of worthlessness. This roller coaster isn't just emotionally exhausting. It chips away at one's identity, creating a nasty, self-perpetuating cycle. So here's the core of it all. Bipolar disorder is not just about mood swings. It's like a dark symphony where several instruments play off each other, compounding pain, confusion, and isolation. Every additional disorder amplifies the struggle, heightening the sense of loneliness, making it harder to seek help, to open up, to share one's burden. We must acknowledge this intersectionality, understand that recovery is multifaceted and requires a compassionate approach that addresses all layers of one's experiences. It calls for a supportive community that is trained in the complexities that come with bipolar disorder. We need to prioritize awareness and education, not just for those struggling, but for families, friends, and professionals too. It's vital to dismantle the stigma that surrounds mental health, to create safe spaces for conversations, where vulnerability is met with empathy instead of judgment. Because when we see people struggling with bipolar disorder alongside other disorders, it becomes our collective mission to encourage understanding, patience, and unconditional support. Let's work together, step by step, toward a brighter horizon where mental health isn't just surviving, but thriving. So let's take a moment to reflect on our perceptions, our attitudes, and our actions. Let's stand united in this fight for mental health, understanding that every battle is complex and every individual is worthy of kindness and care.